Okay, hello, good morning. My name is Sam, my pronouns are they, them, and welcome back to my car. We're doing the intro for today in the car because I have to go to work in just a second, but I wanted to give some updates on the plans for today. The plan for today is to continue reading What Moves the Dead by Kingfisher and then pick up the audiobook for Summer's Sun. I don't remember the author right now, and I'm currently filming on my phone, so I can't even check. But I believe that is about a boy who is unalived, and everyone thinks that he unalived himself, but then his best friend is just like, maybe that's not the case, and something happened to him, and his best friend inherits like friends and roommates and like this whole chaotic situation, and he kind of learns about a double life that was going on basically, and he's just kind of trying to figure out like what happened to his best friend, all while his ghostly figure keeps appearing. That's what I very vaguely understand. um I don't really know if any of that's accurate, but we're going to find out together today. So with that being said, let's go to work and start some reading. Hello. So it is day 6 of Summerween, and yesterday I did so much reading and so little updating. So I finished What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher yesterday while I was at work. And it was incredible, amazing, 5 stars. I loved every second of it. But I don't want to talk about it right now because I've got hardcore traffic behind me. So I'll talk about that when I get home later. And I am about halfway through Summer Suns, which I'm unsure about at this current moment, but not so unsure that I'm like in a DNF mood. So I'm going to update some more of that later today too, because I'm going to continue listening to that audiobook while I'm at work today. And then yesterday I had to go home and I did so much sewing. I literally sewed until 9 p.m. working on finishing up hemlines and everything on this skirt. It took so long. It was so painful. And then today's going to be a big adventure day. So I have to go to work, and then we have to go to Hot Topic and potentially Target and the bookstore, and then we have to go home and we have to potentially do even more sewing. So with that, let's go into work and get our day started. Hi, hello. So I just went and ran a ton of errands, but I ended my day with Books A Million because it's my favorite bookstore, my favorite coffee. All of it's my favorite. I got my own copy of A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, but this is purely a shout out to my favorite Books A Million barista, because I walked in and she gasped and she said, "Oh my god, I love your outfit, you look like a goddess." So here I am with my oat milk pumpkin spice chai with 2 shots of espresso and whipped cream and cinnamon, and I feel like a non-binary goddess. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Okay, hello. So it is day 6, and this has been the weirdest Summerween because I feel like I've gotten so much reading done, but I have not done like any of the social things that I wanted to. And I mean, I guess that just kind of happens sometimes. It's just how it is. But I definitely have updates to give about, I think, 3 books. So let's start with What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. So I read that physically, and I read it in a day. I devoured What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. I thought that it was incredible. Truly art. So it's a queer story. It's kind of like a socially trans kind of thing. I don't really know how to really define it, but we have this, I believe that Vaughn is a general. I believe those are the correct terms, Vaughn. And they are from a country where there's like tons of different like pronouns and like ways to address people. And I believe Vaughn is the correct one, but you can basically just be like, I am a soldier, and it like changes your social and like weird gender perspective of things, and it's harder to explain it, but it feels very natural when you're reading it, but it's like really hard to explain. But Vaughn goes to this house in the middle of like nowhere because it's been requested of a friend. Like Vaughn's close childhood friend is like on the verge of death and calls Vaughn over through a letter and is like, I'm dying. Please help. So Vaughn goes, and it's like the super like mushroom fungus weird area, and it's like this weird gothic vibe. It's really creepy. It's really unsettling. It gives off the same kind of vibes as Mexican Gothic, which I loved, but I honestly thought that this might have been a little bit better. And I say that because it was a very condensed story. It was like only 150 pages. It was my novella for the challenge. And it was just very manageable, but it still gave everything that you would want it to give. It had great character development, great world building, great everything. It was just really, really well done. So I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. I think that it's totally worth it, and I think that it's a really good place to start with Kingfisher. It also made my like stomach curdle. Like that was the kind of creepy it was. Like it wasn't so creepy that I felt like I had to put it down and walk away, but it was creepy enough where I was just like, oh my god, it's not right. It's wrong. So I just loved it. I thought it was great. And then after that, I started on Summer Suns by Lee Mandelo. So that's the audiobook that I'm listening to right now. I have been listening to it for a few days, and I am not done with it yet. I'm super close to being done with it. I think I'm like 80% of the way through. And from what I understand, it's about Eddie and Andrew. Eddie and Andrew are best friends from childhood, brothers, and they have like this weird kind of like situationship, like love vibe going on, but neither of them wants to admit that they were gay. And Eddie goes away for his like graduate degree program, and Andrew is like, I want to come with you, and Eddie is like, no, like just defer for like a semester or whatever, and I'll get everything started or whatever. And then Eddie dies, and everyone thinks that Eddie did that to himself, and Andrew is just like, absolutely not. That's not it. So Andrew inherits the house, Eddie's roommate, and Eddie's group of friends, basically. And he also gets Eddie's like ghost, but it's not a ghost. I can't remember the exact word that they use for it right now. I think it might be revenant, but it's just like this thing that kind of crawls into Andrew's skin, kind of. And it's like this little leftover piece of Eddie, and it's like pure anguish and despair. And that's how Andrew figures out that Eddie did not end his own life. Someone else did it to him. And he is just spending this entire time like trying to figure out who did this to his person. Like that's the only way to describe Eddie in terms of Andrew, is that was his person, and his person is no longer with him. With this story comes like another romance kind of with one of the side characters that I'm loving every second of it. And I don't know how much I'm loving this story right now. Like I'm feeling like it's a solid 3-star, where it might just not be like exactly what I wanted it to be. There's definitely like aspects of it that I don't find super, like, interesting, and I kind of would rather skip over them, but I think that's more of a content thing more than anything. Like, everyone's into, like, car racing in this, and, like, I'm tired of car racing. Truly, well and truly, I've had my experience in that realm, and I really would rather never have anything to do with it ever, ever, ever again. So, what makes it worse is that, like, I know some of the lingo that's going on, and I'm just like, I really wish I didn't. I really, really wish that I didn't know. But I do, which probably just irritates me more. So, but the story itself is really good. I think that Andrew as a character is really well developed because, like, you don't like Andrew. Like, I don't like Andrew at all as a character. I think he's a fantastic character, though. I think he's a really great example of a character does not have to be likable for them to be a good character. And he is a good character. And he's also really, like, struggling figuring out that he is gay and his relationship with all of that, and, like, the loss of what he's now realizing he could have had with Eddie, but that they didn't have. And it's a very complicated scenario. So it's very good. I don't know what happens yet. I still have a ways to go. But I'm getting there. And then what I finished today was The Silent Patient by Alex something. I still cannot pronounce his last name. I don't have it in me. And I ended up giving that a 3.5 stars. And I want to say that I got a 3.5 star and not a 2.5 star because of the twist ending. So the story itself was fine. I don't think I'll ever pick up another book by him ever again. I read The Maidens a while ago. I hated it. It had, like, in the last 20 pages, like, random, like, secret pedophilia, and it did not do good things for my brain. And I think that's what this author really does, is he, like, takes you through, like, 300 pages of a book, and then, like, the last 20 pages, it's just, like, bam, twist. And I don't think that that's my favorite thing, honestly. I thought it was fine. So this is about a psychotherapist, Theo, who is enthralled with a patient, Alicia. Her husband, she shot him in the face 5 times, and then she went silent. Didn't speak anymore. So she got put in a psych ward instead of, like, going into jail. From there, Theo becomes obsessed with her and is like, I have to help her. Like, I have to be her psychotherapist. So we're just kind of walking through, like, Theo's obsessive disorder, basically, with Alicia, and, like, some of his issues with his life and his wife. And we're also getting, like, diary entries from Alicia. So we're kind of getting a side of her story, basically, of, like, what happened, what brought her to that point where she ended her husband. And I liked her journal entries. I thought her journal entries were interesting. I thought they gave a really good perspective on things, and I thought that her voice was much more interesting than Theo's, honestly. But I don't know why I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say that I felt like Theo was kind of flat a little bit. Like, I just thought that he was a flat character. Like I didn't really grab anything, any depth from him, and, like, I kind of can understand why in terms of how the ending went, but, like, I didn't feel like he felt like a well-rounded character. I just felt like he was a caricature more than anything, honestly, which I'm sure some people want, but it's not what I want. You know, I don't want to follow what feels like a caricature for 320 pages most of the time. Because he is, like, kind of a classic, I don't want to say he's a classic therapist, but I want to say he's a classic, like, mental health professional, and, like, really becomes obsessed with, like, unpacking her, and he takes her on as, like, his personal project, and he becomes obsessed, and like his relationship with his wife and all of that. Like, it all just gives off an air of like a caricature, and I didn't enjoy it that much. So her diary entries saved it for me, the ending saved this for me, and I thought it was fine. Like, it wasn't a bad story. I can see why so many people like it, but I think because his character fell so flat for me, it just wasn't even really worth it in the end, I guess. But in 3 days, I have basically gotten through 3 books. I'm almost done with Summer Sons. And for the last day, Friday, I have so many errands to run, and I have to go to work, and then we are going to Connecticut. But I am really going to try to start and finish The Taking of Jake Livingston by Ryan Douglas. I'm going to try and start this tonight and hopefully finish it tomorrow throughout all of the chaos. And if I finish it tomorrow, and if I finish Summer Sons tomorrow, then I will have completed my entire Summerween TBR, which I did not think was going to happen. So, as of right now, I have completed, I believe, all of my prompts. So, read a book in the dark. I did that on my first day. Read a thriller. That was The Silent Patient. Read a book that takes place in fall. That was The Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandanna. Read a book with orange or black on the cover. That was What Moves the Dead by Kingfisher. And read a manga, graphic novel, or a novella, which was also What Moves the Dead by Kingfisher. So, I've completed all of it. Now, with that, I do need to finish this out. I've got to go finish making the cookies for my sister's baby shower for this weekend. I have to make like over 100 cookies, so I'm gonna call this a night for talking to everyone. Yeah, I guess that's it. So I will do a wrap up, like a final vlog and a wrap up for Summerween tomorrow. So I'll guess I will see everyone tomorrow. Bye.